This was if I got lucky in the first two, this was the lottery. You know, what you see up here is an array of talented people that, you know, really make the movie. They say that directing, or John Ford said directing was 90% casting, and it's in evidence here. For example, what John and Alan were able to do in terms of taking the sort of Hollywood satire element of the movie and keeping it realistic while making it funny was incredibly challenging but necessary in order to stitch the movie together so that it didn't just feel like a series of shorts. You know, one about the CIA, one that was a comedy about Hollywood, and one that was a sort of, I don't know what, Costa Gravis movie or something.
How did you get the Canadian government to conspire with your gala to you know, shutting down the Iranian embassy on the very day that you're...
Wasn't easy. Been in Tehran all last week, fomenting discontent. No, that was kind of, somebody who works for Warner Brothers came over to me and said, well, they closed the Canadian embassy in Tehran, and I kind of laughed, and they said, no, they closed the Canadian embassy in Tehran.
Well, that particular detail came right from Tony Mendez. That was one of the things that he really did coach the house guests in. You know, no tip sheet, but we felt that, you know, I think the saying "A" was Rory's improvisation, actually. But you know, the idea of every American's cliched idea of things Canadian, we needed to layer in there somehow. Obviously in Toronto and in A, and we didn't get a you know, hockey or Maple Leaf reference anywhere, but we were close.
If I may, he's being modest. He's as meticulous a director as I have ever worked with. He knew exactly what he wanted. He knew exactly, moment to moment, scene by scene, what the tone had to be. And once in a while, we got lucky and fell into it. But he directed. It wasn't. He directed.
Well, it was a kind of a huge responsibility because I figured I'd be judged harshly. But once I got the glasses, I was fine. And it was my own hair, just so you know. No, you know, seriously, I didn't really know. I didn't know all that much because at the time that I was living in New York and pursuing a career and too self-involved to really get, you know what was going on. But when I read this script, I was so astonished by this man and what he did, and I thought it was beautifully written and beautifully depicted, and so I thought I had this responsibility, and you know, I was just thrilled to get a chance to do it.
This is really, I mean, one of the really important themes for me, and one of the things that I loved about this screening here was, to me, the movie does say, it does resurrect this idea of thank you, Canada, of valuing Canada, respecting Canada, reaching an arm of friendship across the border. Naturally, we're quite close, but it's one thing to be close, it's another thing to say, you know, hey, thank you for this in particular.